More than 2,400 miles from the state capital in Arizona, we're on the steps of City Hall in New York City, where recent legislation against illegal immigration in that state has taken on a life of its own here in the state of New York.
New York City, the latest in a number of city governments coming out against Arizona's State Bill 1070.
Know what Governor Brewer and the legislature of Arizona were thinking.
The city council and other immigrants' rights groups considering an economic boycott of Arizona.
Basta! Basta!
That sits well with Angel.
Soy mexicano, soy ilegal.
In his native Spanish, Angel admits to being illegally in the United States for the past 6 years. But now he has 2 American-born daughters. Today he sits quietly in the background, letting those that are in the United States legally fight his battle with signs and chants of protest.
Few people question the fact that something needs to be done about illegal immigration. What many people are having a problem with now is the fact that the governor of Arizona has signed legislation that requires police to mandatorily question those they suspect are in the country illegally.
Yes, it's racism.
Dr. Catherine Lee is an expert in race relations and how it's impacted by the long-standing illegal immigration issue in the United States. She expects the Arizona law, which would require police officers to question anyone they suspect of being illegal, to open up the floodgates.
When Governor Brewer signed the law, she very clearly identified what she considered safety measures, that there would be no ethnic or racial profiling. Racial profiling may not be allowable under this law, but in practice it could very well be the only way that many officers, even if they don't want to be explicitly racially profiling, may rely on those characteristics or features.
Nonsense, says Dr. Gail Kesselman. She heads up New Jersey Citizens for Immigration Reform, a grassroots group asking lawmakers to seal the borders and, according to its website, stop the invasion.
There's too large a number of illegal immigrants. We don't have work for them right now. They really need to return to their home country. We need to secure the border. What's going on in the state of Arizona is a disgrace.
What would be considered suspicious, according to Gail Kesselman?
Speaks a foreign language, does not have ID. I think there's some suspicion. I think a reasonable person might be suspicious that maybe that person is not an American citizen or legal resident.
But according to Dr. Lee, carrying identification is not mandatory in the United States as a citizen. And according to a recent Gallup poll, 1 in 4 Americans speak a second language, making them, in the eyes of Dr. Kesselman, suspicious. And that's exactly what some lawmakers are so up in arms about.
It is a ridiculous, look, the idea of being able to walk down the street of Arizona or walk down the street of New York and pick out who is an illegal immigrant, it's an un-American thing to try to do, but it is impossible.
A growing number of lawsuits are being filed in opposition to the law, and opponents have already filed legal action to block it. And yet another group has filed papers for a referendum drive that potentially could delay the passage of the bill. But they need to find 76,000 signatures. If that happens, that would delay the law, expected to go into effect in late July or early August, until a vote could be held. Possibly not until 2012. In New York, Carlos Vergara, Ebro News.